All right, so here is the start of our SLHS Getting to Know Pro. So here is what we need to do first. So from where you were, you have this screenshot. This is where you're living right now. And we're just going to continue on this project. So we've opened up into this project of Getting to Know Pro. And the first thing we want to do is simplify these addresses. So we want to clip. So if we have our tools here, we want to clip these addresses out. Notice how it has ready to use tools up here. We're up in analysis. We can go over to this toolbox always, and there's a nice geoprocessing window, all right, here. And we can pin this so that it's always right there, and I can always just go grab it this way too. Now, if I want to type clip, Analysis Tools Clip extracts input features that overlay the clip features. That's what I want to do. The clip, and you're going to see how this works. It's like a cookie cutter. Take that, we're going to take that South Lakes attendance zone, and we're going to clip out all the addresses that are only within that space. Okay, so I'm going to double click here. I want my clip tool, and this is what ends up happening. And I'm going to just, I'm going to open up my clip, double click, and here I am with my click tool. And notice how it says input feature. So I want to input addresses. The clip feature, that's the cookie cutter. So that's the SLHS zone, the red in our map. And notice when I do this, how if I click in this output features, like what do I want to call it? It actually has the name at the end, and then it has all the folders in which it is. So I am going to leave addresses, but I want to change the name. But I'm going to leave everything. So to that last slash, I'm just going to type SLHS addresses. Pro really likes to have only underscore. So I'm going to put an underscore and then addresses. So it says SLHS addresses. And then I'm going to hit down here, run. And notice it is working away. And there it goes. It is processing, and up pops over here in my contents pane, SLHS addresses. Now, I can't see any of that, right? So let me turn off my big addresses, and there we are. And I want the red of the SLHS zone to be above to show. So I'm just going to drag it right above addresses, and notice what we have here. And I can zoom in a bit to what we're looking at, because we want to really just be looking at this South Lake zone. And there we are. Look at that. So those are all the addresses that are going to send their kids to South Lakes High School. All right, so the next thing we want to do, we want to look at the feeder schools. So what do we need to do? We need to go back to our map, find our, or rather view. Remember, whenever you get lost, like I want to go back to my folders. Where are my folders? Well, my catalog pane, I can always open that up here and find these are my data folders. All right, so the next thing we need to do is we need to add another data set. We've added the SLHS data set, but now we need to add the feeder schools. So I am going to right click, add a folder connection. And notice wherever you're going to go into your computer, find where this GIS data set is in your computers and find the SLHS feeder schools. I'm going to highlight it. I'm not going to open it. If you open it, go back one and get to this and highlight it and then hit OK. All right. And once you do that, you come over here, you open it. Sometimes you have to do it a couple times. It doesn't get it. And now here we are, we have SLHS feeder schools in addition to, in the last video, we did all the SLHS data and we added the addresses. Now we've got the feeder schools. So the next thing we want to do is we want to add these to our map. So I can, again, right click here and add to current map. I can also drag them onto the map. I can drag them over to the contents panel. Any of those things will work. And notice we have SLHS feeder schools set 1. Those are a little bit hard to see with all the addresses. We also want to add SLHS feeder schools 2. So I right click, add to the map, and now I have set 1 and set 2. So those feeder schools to South Lakes High School, the pyramid, are in two different sets. Let's also add, while we're here, South Lakes High School. So I'm going to right click, right click, come off, right click South Lakes High School. I'm going to add that to the map, and there we go. So now I've got set 1, set 2, and South Lakes High School. Now we need to go in and do some symbology changing. I'm going to actually close out my catalog over here. I can always get back to it. And we want to do some symbol changes for these. So for set 1, I am going to click on the symbols, double click, and up pops my symbology over here. Now I want the color on these to be bright, bright green for South Lakes. That's fine. Let's come down. I'm just coming down here. I want them to be, let's say 7 point. It's outline width. That's fine. Is 0.7. Let's do the size of those to be 7 point. We really want to see those. I'm going to apply it. There we go. Make them a little bigger. All right. Apply that change. Looks good. And there they are. We can see them right there. If I turn off my SLHS addresses, I see them even more clearly. So let's also, I'm going to go back over here to set 1. And I'm going to actually get out of symbology here. I'm going to right click. And I'm going to label. So this is create labels in ArcGIS Online. I'm going to label them. There we go. So then I have those. Now we need to go in and do 2. So let's do set 2. Let's actually make those a really bright South Lakes blue. There we go. Let's scroll down over here. Let's make those 7 point as well. Apply the change. And notice how those are now. We can see those. Again, we come back over to our contents pane. I'm going to turn off, close up my symbology. I'm going to right click. I want those labeled as well. And there we go. Let's make South Lakes High School. I'm going to click left click right on this symbol for South Lakes High School. And let's really make that like, let's go to gallery. Let's make that like a red star. Do we see something that we like? Let's see. Oh, flag. That's good. Let's do flag. So we see flag. Make it something red. There we go. Nice and big. You could come anywhere else and kind of mess around looking in the gallery, looking in different styles over here, and you can find all different kinds of symbols in here, just like in ArcGIS Online. So we have done that. We have our South Lakes High School as a flag. Perfect. We're all set. All right, so you sometimes have 2 data sets and you actually want to merge them into one. And this is what we want to do with these. So we've entered these. The data came in 2 sets, set 1 and set 2. We really only want 1 set. So let's merge. So how do we do that? We go back up. And so here we are. See my geoprocessing up here. I can bring it over there. Analysis. It's always right here too. You can go to tools, open it up. And I want to make this a little bit bigger so I can see everything. This time I want to merge data, 2 data sets. So I put merge, and notice data management tools combines multiple input data sets into a single new output data set. This tool can combine point, line, or polygon features into classes or tables. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up. So input data sets. I want to input set 1, and I want to input set 2. So I have those are the 2 I want to input. Output, feeder schools merge. Let's call it, we're going to actually rename this SLHS feeder schools. Sounds good. Leave it at that, feeder schools. I just got rid of the merge part because I'm going to actually get rid of those individual set 1 and set 2. All of this looks fine. And I am going to hit run to merge these data sets. And here we go. If something goes wrong, it often tells you, gives you some messages so you can try to figure that out. I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this. And notice how everything now looks green. So if I turn off set 1 and set 2, I have left the complete set of feeder schools into South Lakes High School, which is still down here, right there. So I'm all set. Now I can actually go in, I can right click on set 2 and I can remove it. I don't need that set anymore. And I can do the same for set 1, remove, and I still have all my feeder schools. I still have South Lakes High School. So we're all set. So the next thing we want to do is actually another tool. Let's do buffers around each of these feeder schools. So you've done buffers before in ArcGIS Online. Now we're going to do buffers in Pro. So I'm going to go back up to my tools. I'm going to go back up to my tools. And again, I can always just search keyword buffer. Analysis tools buffers creates buffer polygons around input features to a specified distance. Yep, that's exactly what a buffer is. So my input features, we want the feeder schools. Okay, so let's grab that. Call it the feeder schools buffer. That's the output feature class. Yep, that's the new layer we're creating. We're going to do linear units, and we want actually them to be 0.75, and then let's make them miles. Okay, so and there's so many different things. Look at this. US survey miles works just fine. All right. Look at all these different things they have. Isn't that crazy? Yep. All right. So there's kilometers up there. We're gonna do miles. We're gonna not dissolve it. We're gonna leave it plainer. We're good. So we should be all set. I'm gonna hit run down here, and we're gonna run this buffer analysis. And notice it gives us some information. And there we are. Look at, there's your buffers. But now that we're looking at this, I'm not sure we did want to not dissolve it. So let's go back and look at this. We have our buffer, and there's a different way to do this. Now, sometimes you're going to want separate buffers. That's true. And I open this up, and again, feeder schools was our input. We're going to call it the buffer. Linear unit, we're going to do 0.75 miles. There we go. But let's this time think about this dissolve. We want to dissolve all these output features into a single feature. We want to know if buses are going to pick up students from all of those, and we need to know how many buses and how many addresses are in there. We can start to figure that out, but we kind of want to know a total number. So we're going to dissolve the feature. So I just did it, dissolve the features, and then let's just run this again. All right, now let's turn off our old buffer layer. Oh, I like the new one. I'm going to turn off the old one. Oh, and look at, there's the new one right there. So I'm going to actually go back to this original buffer. Notice the difference. I turn off my new one. This is all the kind of looks like plastic coins all stacked on top of each other. That one's not useful to me. I'm going to actually right click this. I am going to right click this and just remove it. Because really what I want is this second one that I did. I like this. This is the one I like. And I have all my feeder schools. I've got it centered in my map, and I've got South Lakes High School here. Oh, you know what? We didn't have, let's label South Lakes High School. Let's add a label to South Lakes High School. There we go. This is the picture I want. So this is your picture for video 2. Go ahead and take a screenshot of this. And I'll see you in the next video.